Can the Owl House survive Extermination Day? This is one of the ideas that I brought up and the first one I thought of. So many of you guys wanted, so let's tackle it. Ah yes, you guys probably noticed my new look. It was made by yours truly, so if you like it, let me know down in the comments below. So since it's been a year since Hazbin Hotel aired its first season, and the Owl House ended a year ago, how about we talk about a matchup between the two verses? Better yet, we will compare the two season finales. So what will happen if we replace Delos' plan with Extermination Day from Hazbin Hotel? If Adam went to the bowling alleys first and wanted to exterminate every witch in the bowling alleys, would the bowling alleys come out alive? Let's find out. Firstly, I would like to get into how and what the events will be like, and obviously change some things to make things a little more interesting. What I mean by that is the obvious elephant in the room. The collector won't be included for obvious reasons. I don't think I'm hurting anyone's feelings by saying no Exorcist, including Adam, is moving the moon with one finger, so obviously it will be a stump. Also, I will not be including Lowell's either, since I will replace him with the Exorcist for this video. I'll only be including the heroes in the Owl House Season 3 finale to battle on Extermination Day. So pretty much like characters like the Hexside students, Ida, Rain, and of course Luce. This battle will take place in the bowling halls where the Extermination Day will happen. I should have probably started off by saying this, but for the people who don't know what Extermination Day is, it's pretty much a day where a bunch of exorcists tries to exterminate as many people as possible in an area. Also, before we get into both sides, I would like to say for the people who says that the exorcists can only be killed by angelic weapons, although that may be true, they can still be harmed, proven by Vaggy's battle with Luce, so yeah. That won't change much on this video, plus they can still die, just not permanently since none of the Owl House characters have angelic weapons. Lastly, I would include Time Luce, but since my last video went in depth on their scaling for a time form, I won't repeat the same stuff, so I recommend you guys check out this video to see where I scale her. If you watch Hazbin Hotel, you will know that these exorcists is run by Adam and his lieutenant Lute, and these are the guys that the people in the bowling halls will have to face. So can the exorcists exterminate everyone in the bowling halls and claim victory? Or will the bowling halls magic and the witches be enough to overcome this and survive Extermination Day? This is Noob, and if you'd like to see videos like this, leave a like and subscribe, and let's jump right in. Let's start off with the exorcists, since it will take less time to go over them than their opponents. We will progress with the army to Adam so we can see what they're fully capable of. So exactly how strong the exorcists are really? The Exorcist army itself pretty much has a similar, if not the same tactics as with one another, and that is just to charge at anything they see on their path. So all of the Exorcist army pretty much has the same scaling to each other, and Lute obviously scales over them due to being Adam's lieutenant. This might be a hot take, but they could be scaled to a fraction of Lute's strength, the same Lute who slammed Dazzle to a hotel lobby with barely any difficulty. That will definitely place her at least to wall to small building level. Technically, if you really like Lute, or want to make the army even more stronger than that, you could infer scale by saying these exorcists scale above Millie, since she is just an imp, and Millie has done some feats that definitely place her at small building level. So each exorcist will scale to small building level each. But will I do that to scale them? Not really, since these exorcists' durability are very inconsistent. What I mean by that is when they are stated that only angelic weapons can harm them, meanwhile other things can harm them, Lute being a prime example. Although their AP definitely scales to wall and to small building level, their durability is very questionable and could be classified as a glass cannon. So it really just boils down to their numbers and if they all can come in groups and attack with their weapons with that attack potency. I could definitely see it being small building to even just building level with just being in groups. And Lute scaling above them individually would place her small building level to arguably building level, but even I would admit that would be a high ball. So let's get into the first man himself, meet Master Adam. So where exactly does he scale? So he obviously scales above Lute and the other Exorcist army by being the leader and all, and is much faster and stronger than the average sinner by overpowering Alistair, who is an overlord. The same Alistair who covered the entire Hazbin Hotel with his power, and is so big to the point where it covered a whole hill, and Adam just one-shot it with one punch. Yes, it's a hill, not a mountain, so stop asking. That will definitely place Adam at bare minimum large building to a best town level in terms of attack opponency. But to be consistent, I will say small town level since some of its holy light beams doesn't do that much damage to the hotel itself until he uses both of his hands to cut down the hotel and the hill in half, with one I'm assuming his strongest attack. So overall, I place Adam at small town level to maybe even town level, but I'll admit that will be a reach, so small town level. and with its holy light beams probably being hypersonic in speed from what it seems. Overall, the Exorcist army consistently scales to wall to small building level individually, and as a group fighting together would be small building level, and Luz will scale over this, which will make her consistently small building level. And Adam scales above her and the army by being small town level, and in terms of attack componency with hypersonic speeds from a visual standpoint. So, can the Owl House survive Extermination Day? Let's find out. The Owl House Heroes has quite a few characters during Extermination Day. We have the Hexite students, King, Ida, Rain, and lastly Luz Naceta to battle. I'll go over each of them and to see how strong are they really, and how capable each witchling is. Let's start off with Gus, the illusionist. Gus can make illusions, clones, and noticeably one of the fastest with his talisman. If he really wanted to make his illusions go wild, he will just need a helping hand to make his illusions go to the next level, as we've seen in the episode. Gus is probably somewhat relative to the other Exite students, but doesn't really have any destructive capabilities. He's more about perception than anything. But who's to say that ain't useful? So I wouldn't underestimate the illusionist if he was left alone. Next up is Hunter, and he doesn't have too much to go through, and he went from being a powerless witch to being a speedster. He has all combat experience and took down many Covenants hand to hand with his speed, so he'll definitely keep a lot of exorcists in line. We have Amity, whose main bread and butter is abomination magic. She also has other magic like fire, but she mostly utilizes an abomination magic. She's very skilled in her own right, and it can react to Hunter, who is subsonic, and has many versatilities of her abomination to her abilities. The next one up, and I argue the most powerful Hexite student, is none other than Willow Park, with her plant magic. She too is very versatile with her abilities, and her plant magic can pack a punch when used offensively. Her plant magic grew so big to the point where it filled the entire school, and that was back at season 1. She can easily take on Mech Kikimora and has the best feat so far when it comes to plant magic. Her plant magic can be very destructive, as we've seen a few times, and can level to small building to even just building level from what we've seen. She's also quite strong physically when she lifted a whole bookshelf on top of her, granted with the help of her vines. She's probably the most powerful plant witch in the bowling halls. Don't bring up Terra because her feats does not compare. If I see anyone in the comments who tries to debate me on that, they can bite me. Now let's get on with King. He can do the famous toy. He destroyed a huge amount of boulder and helped Tyne Luz to fend off against Bellows. Ida can turn into her harpy form. Although not as strong as she was in her prime, she can still cause major problems if she's underestimated. Ida helped Luz use her time powers and also helped her to defend against Bellows in the final battle. Alongside of Rain, who is also a powerful witch and can make a huge sound waves with his sound, and can even do more than that. Bellows even stated himself that Rain is a powerful witch and was having trouble against Rain when he was trying to go after the Titan Heart. Rain broke his guitar as a final result, but failed unfortunately, but still covered most of Bellows' throne room, which is very impressive. Lastly, we have the final Hexite student and the protagonist herself, Luz Naceta. She has all types of glyph combinations like light, fire, and plant, but has many glyph combinations in her disposal. But her most powerful state is when she has her Titan powers, plus has her talisman string beam. Like I said before, I won't go too in depth with her scaling since I already covered that in my last video, so just to put it into short terms, she scales to large island for being relative to Titan Bellows. Her speed would be scaled to relativistic speed to the speed of light, and yes, I now know that the Titan powers isn't just limited to the boiling isles since her glyphs worked against Bethesda's Hunter when near Titan blood, so, and Luz has the power of a Titan, so my bad on the point in the video. So overall, Team Owl House, the Hexite students would scale to wall to building level in terms of AP, and King and probably Gus scales on the weaker spectrum compared to the heavy hitters. But just because they're the weakest on the spectrum does not mean they're not going to be good assets on Extermination Day. As for Rain and Ida, they will scale above the Hexite students thanks to their experience with their fighting skills, so they will be building level at the very least. And as for the Titan hybrid herself, she would scale to large island in AP as well as arguably speed of light. So, can they survive Extermination Day? Let me explain it into 3 categories to see who really wins this. We got individual battles where it's just a 1v1. We got team battles where everyone is in a team and fights together as one. And then we got the battle of the most powerful on both sides. Let's get into the individual battles. Both sides seem to have pretty similar scaling, comparing just the witches and the exorcists. But one seems to have the more of a outnumber advantage, and it's not the magic users on this one. If we're talking about just every witch alone against the Exorcist, the number advantage will really make a difference, and I don't see them really getting through all of them because it will simply overwhelm their stamina. Guys, we have to understand that these are the Hexite students and a few others against a whole army of Exorcist soldiers, and they will surely drain their stamina dry. Now, it won't be easy for the Exorcist to really drain them, but they surely have a number advantage, and if the witches are not careful, they can be exterminated. They do, however, have abilities and strategy advantage against the Exorcist, because the Exorcists aren't really known for their strategies. Instead, they're just about pure strength against the defenseless. So I don't really see Gus and King by themselves dealing with all the Exorcists at once alone, and every other witch above them win as well. Even if they can handle it better, they simply don't have the stamina as well as durability to get stabbed more than once or twice, because they can seriously get damaged. The Exorcists are glass cannons, but most of the Team Owl House are as well, and their durability is simply not as good in comparison. The only person I can see seriously clutching up in an individual battle is none other than Time Loose, and I believe she could easily take out multiple Exorcist armies at once, and are with her time bubble as well as King's West sound. So I just see this battle ending with Team Owl House losing due to stamina problems, and if Loose doesn't use her time form. The Owl House team sadly doesn't survive. But if Time Loose is there and beats Adam before her time limit runs out, can't she beat every Exorcist including Loot before her time limit runs out? And honestly, yes, she does. Although she does have the best control with her time powers, the destructive capabilities that we've seen from her is going to overwhelm every Exorcist on the field, including Adam. She would get a bit of trouble with her powers while fighting the Exorcist, but she easily outscales and completely destroys the army if the moment she beats Adam. Since we're talking about everyone at their highest level of power, I will say the Owl House team wins. Even if Time Loose control and time limit could be an issue, she just simply overscales every Exorcist by so much that I doubt that her time limit and her little control on her time powers would really make a difference. Plus, she gets to protect herself from the Exorcist at all angles thanks to her time bubble, and can keep them at by distance with her shockwaves. So overall, the Owl House survives Extermination Day in individual battles. Now let's get on to team battles. Team battles is just where Team Owl House easily dominates it. They not only have much better strategy than the Exorcists, but their abilities can definitely overwhelm the Exorcists once they work together. Not only the Exorcists are not known for their strategy making, but their durability does not help them in the slightest. Although they won't die permanently, that can still cost them to lose. Then Ada can help Time Loose further bring out her time powers to their full potential. The Exorcists just get wiped out, and I don't see Adam taking a full-blown shockwave from Loose. It's not happening. Not to mention the speed from Time Loose and other witches with the Hazbin being faster than each Exorcist, the Owl House can definitely take the dub. Adam could use his holy light beams on the witches and could cause some damage to the Hexite students, but once Time Loose locks in on Adam, it's game over. So overall, the Owl House definitely survives Extermination Day when it comes to team battles. Lastly, who wins of the battle between the most powerful on both sides? And if it's not already obvious, Adam is simply getting blown out of the water from Time Loose, thanks to her power and speed. Although Adam has shown more strength and durability, it's kind of irrelevant since their speed is simply not close and her AP is just too much for Adam to handle. Her glyph combinations and power is far superior to Adam. And once Adam is dealt with, every Exorcist plus Loot are the ones that are getting exterminated. So yeah, the Owl House can definitely survive Extermination Day when Time Loose plays a role. The only way I see the Owl House doesn't survive this is if you don't use Time Loose, because at that point they will lose because of the Exorcist number advantage, and no one really beats Adam in terms of power and scaling. But 9 times out of 10, when Time Loose takes down the leader of the Exorcist, let's just say that the Exorcists are the ones who will be exterminated. Forget can the Owl House survive the Extermination Day, can the Exorcist survive Time Loose? God, that was awful. But seriously, jokes aside, this about wraps up this video. So if you like this video, leave a like, subscribe for more content like this. Let me know down in the comments if the Owl House survives Extermination Day. I'd love to hear your thoughts down below, and if I missed anything on both sides, let me know. That's it for this video, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Until next time.